everyone.
Hi, Tony.
Quite straightforward today. We only have one embargo section. So we'll have the open first, and then we'll have an embargo section for the dailies with all content embargo until 10:30 p.m. tonight. Just make that clear. That's 10:30 tonight. Vinny, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Jurgen, after the United game, you said, I'm concerned about the situation, but that is how it is. How do you address those concerns with the group, and has there even been any need for any kind of clear the air talk between Virgil and James Milner as well?
Oh, we spoke about pretty much everything, and of course, when I got asked about Millie and Virg, I was the one who didn't see the pictures yet, but obviously everybody else saw it, and I was a pretty emotional player in my times, and I had more often than not with my best friends these kind of conversations on the pitch. There's nothing to clarify really. It's a situation when you're discussing things on the pitch, and especially nowadays with all the cameras and stuff like this, then it looks a bit much more serious than it is. So that's no problem at all. Apart from that. Yeah, of course, we spoke about the game as well, and if there was one thing, I think, so we have 70% percentage. I think we respect the result. That's how it is. They scored 2 goals. They had good chances on top of that, but we had a lot of moments as well, and they blocked them with all they had. So I don't know how many blocked shots we had which would have been on target probably. And we didn't have these situations, and that's what we have to involve immediately as well in our game. So that's it. But that's the United game. It's gone, done and dusted if you want. And now we have a different game. It's the situation. It's not the situation we wanted to have, but actually I like it as well. It's a challenge. The thing. It's not the start you want, and so you have to fight back. And I'm really happy that we have the opportunity to play at home now twice, especially now on Saturday. And we understand the situation. I have a sense that our people understand the situation as well, and so I can't wait to create a special atmosphere at Anfield together, team and crowd, to make things happen.
Got any positive news on the injury front as well, and are you likely to get anyone back this weekend?
Well, this weekend probably not, but after that, Joel, Curtis, Thiago is not too far away, Diogo is getting closer, Queef will be in training, I think, early next week as well. So yeah, positive news, but don't think anybody will be ready for tomorrow.
And there was kind of a hint that if a deal were to present itself, you might be able to do something in the transfer window before the deadline. Is there any chance, do you see any chance of that deal presenting itself and making sense to move and adding to your squad before that deadline?
Oh, I don't know. You can imagine that we are actually working constantly on these kind of things, but then we spoke about the reasons why sometimes it is not happening. Sometimes too expensive, sometimes not the right player, and then but then situation change, stuff like this. But it still stays. One thing is really stays important. And really important needs to be the right player, and so we're working. But we will see if something will happen or not. I don't know.
When things aren't going as well as you'd want them to, and when it happened before, we know there were reasons, whether that be all the injuries that you sort of had and what happened. What can you put in place when something like that happens, so that when you're at the stage that you are now and it's not going so great, that you can halt that? Is there anything? Yeah,
that's my job actually. I'm a supporter of this team as well, but it's not my main job. My job is to put things right. And
did you learn anything from when it happened before? I
could learn. I don't know. It's all good, but I could learn a lot in my life when things didn't go well. So yes, I actually. It's not my favorite situation, but I like it as well. It's a part of the job as well to now we have to be careful with the language but to kind of to regroup. Not that we are not a group, but it's like to find a way, the perfect way together again, to fight the outside world, to fight all the circumstances, not to suffer. Look, the news are not great, so the games are the games, and I think in the past we played much worse games at United, and this day, but the real disappointing part about it from our point of view in this game is that nothing to do with injuries, nothing with anything else. I know how it sounds, but we should have won this game. We should, with all the things doing here a little bit better and here a little bit better, and now we have to make, and now it's my job to figure out why we didn't do better in these moments, or what's wrong. So and it's first and foremost, I think, in a situation like this, it's maybe there's a moment when you just realize, oh, something changed, it's difficult, injuries hitting. But injuries were not at all the problem at United, because the team we could line up was absolutely more than good enough to play a top game. And again, with 70% percentage against a counter-attacking team, it's good, and it shows a problem as well in the same moment. So I'm completely ready for that now. That's maybe not the most important thing, but it's maybe a little bit helpful as well. I want to fight through this, and players come back, stuff like this, and we will get better results, building on that, stuff like this, and go from there. So all the things we achieved in the past are not important in the moment, really not. We don't feel it, we don't rely on it, nothing at all, but it's always new. The new season is different for different reasons, and in 1 out of 4 games we didn't perform at all, that was Fulham, and in other games we did good stuff as well. Not good enough, and not often, or maybe not often enough in the games, but that's it. And now our next chance is Bournemouth, and that's the one I'm really looking forward to. And with all the respect I have for Scott and what Bournemouth is doing, I don't take anything for granted, not at all. But I want to be the one team really nobody wants to play against again immediately, and that's the plan for tomorrow.
So how do you assess Bournemouth then, different than the last time you played them, which was just before COVID? Started the season well, good result in the cup.
Yeah. So played a super season last year. I have to say, it's really what an achievement that is, to get immediately promoted again. Absolutely class, and Scott coming in new and doing the job he did. So really cool. Had some injuries as well, key players now at the start, but anyway, got results. Tough program for the beginning, I would say. The last 2 games especially. But so that's it. Good. I only read a little bit, so obviously they worked on system changes, playing with 5 in the back. Now might go back to 4 in the back. I don't know, but it's obviously nothing we can really influence. We just have to use it in the moment when the game starts. So that's it.
Thank you. Juliet?
Jurgen, I just wanted to ask you about your thoughts on the events of this week. Obviously, the tragic death of Olivier Seapour, tributes being placed today by both Everton and Liverpool, and it's situations and tragedies like this when the 2 football clubs come together. But they also offer that source of comfort and support as well for those involved.
Yeah. So it's nothing what I can say now would really help. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and it's something I cannot even imagine how it must feel. It's absolutely horrible only to think about it, and it's such a tragedy. Yes, from our point of view, whatever I say would not help really, but if we can help in any kind, we will. That's clear. That must be clear. This is our city. It's usually we like to say LFC City or the Evertonian thing, the Everton City, but in these moments we have really to realize it's our city, and so whatever we can do together there we have to do. And I don't like the moments when it happens, but I like the fact that we are then united and do really and support with all we have. And how's that? Whatever we do, it will not help for the moment. Will not. But anyway, you have to try to ease the situation slightly. If we can do something, we will do it.
And you mentioned the word regroup when you were talking to Simon there about the players. And you obviously spoke also about Manchester United State about picking up performances individually and quickly. And have the players been, trying to think of the right word, but have the players sort of wondered why the team is in a situation that it finds itself in? Bearing in mind it was such a strong run-in at the back end of last season, and the start hasn't been what the players would have wanted.
Yep, maybe, but it's look. You play the season we played last year, and it ends like it ends. And for me, it ended on a high. Even when we lost the Champions League final, I know. But in the future, when you look back, it's not the season where people will talk about because we won only 2 trophies from possible 4. But from our point of view, when we will look back, it will be a special season because of playing all the finals, possible finals, stuff like this. You don't do that often in your career, if ever, and it makes a special season. But it's long ago, so nobody has anything in his bag. What keeps him back, if you want, or holds him back, and doesn't let him fly, these kind of things. And then it gets even a bit stranger, if you want. We play this outstanding game against City really early, and then we have this low at Fulham a week later, and the rest is normal. You can lose. Come on, we can lose at United. We don't want, but it's possible. You don't have to do like it's a catastrophe to go there and don't win with a crazy result. And of course, with the Crystal Palace game, how it went with 10 men down, so it's possible as well. So that's normal. But what we make of it, that's our decision. That's true. So do we feel in a moment that we did everything perfect and that's what, but just happened? No. So we have to improve, definitely. So what can you improve immediately is effort, immediately. Not that we was not, I'm not sure. Let me say, was it 95% maybe? But in the world of football we are living in, we need 100, if not a little bit more %. And passion, put it in. All these kind of things. Don't wait for the perfect pass. Pass as often that one of them will be perfect on all these kind of things. So it's football, and it's highest level football, and the opponents try to cause us problems, obviously, in these kind of things. So it's all fine. It's all football things, and we have the football solutions for it, and you have to get through this, and that's how it always was. The things we achieved in the last few years were never easy. It's not ever, even people said, I win so many games. None of them was easy. So nobody should expect it should be now easy. No, it will be difficult tomorrow. It will be really difficult. But anyway, let's go for it together. That's all I can say. It's not too much what we now have to take from the first 3 games and mention it constantly and stuff like this. And I know, and you're right, more right than me when you mentioned that we get always 1-0 down, stuff like this, then we find somehow back in the game. But it was always different. But it's a fact as well. And now we have to make sure that we give Ali the chance again to have a clean sheet, because he alone cannot do it. So we have to defend with literally all we have. And then when we attack, we have to attack with all we have. And one of the main rules we always had is everybody is responsible for everything. So there's nobody out of responsibility when we defend, and nobody's out of responsibility when we attack. So, and getting there was always difficult, and now this year with the start it looks like a bit more difficult, but not impossible, and that's the only thing I need, and from here we go.
It is only 3 games in. Do we have to sometimes remember that maybe a league season hasn't got going by now? We saw what happened to Man City with 3-1 down, Chelsea lost last weekend. So is it still too early to worry about points?
You can worry if you want, but that doesn't make too much sense, obviously, but it's fine. It's not that we think, only 3 games in. I hear that. So if you start worrying because other teams have already 10 points, and they cannot have 9 points, then that's obviously not helpful, because for us it's not, we cannot think, I think this team delivered in the last 4 or 5 years on incredibly high level, like consistently high level. Little drop again, injuries 2 years ago, but apart from that, we're all so often on the winning side. But sometimes people, I don't speak now about the closer group or the real support, but take things like for granted. So Liverpool is on whatever, Liverpool against whoever, in the end Liverpool will win. That's not the case. So we have to work incredibly hard for it. So, and that's what we will do. So it's about own expectations from the boys. So how should it look? Should it look easy immediately again, like in moments? But never. If you expect an easy game, it will never happen. If you never expect an easy game, you will have 3 or 4 in your entire career. So, and that's the situation. The boys are not guilty of that, that they expected to slide easily into the season. But it's of course too early to close the season, definitely, and say that's it for us and stuff like this. Nobody knows what we can achieve at the end of the season. But between now and then, there are a lot of points to get, and we should start collecting them.
And I know that you will not expect an easy game tomorrow by any means. When we talk about newly promoted sides, you've come up against Fulham already, and now Bournemouth. And these are the kind of clubs that have a lot of Premier League experience, and they do have a lot of know-how, even though they've had a season out.
Yeah, definitely. But if you qualify for the Premier League, you're a Premier League team. So that's how it is. The third newly promoted team is Nottingham Forest, and they have, I'm not sure how many players are still in the team from the team they promoted with. There are different ways to do it as well, obviously. And no, Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth was my first opponent. It was not in the league, but it was in not the first opponent. It was Tottenham. And then pretty early we played Bournemouth in a League Cup game and met Eddie Howe the first time, stuff like this. Heard first time really about the club, to be 100% honest. Since then, I know the club pretty well. I like a lot what they are doing. I like the little stadium there, which is nice from an atmosphere point of view, and not so nice from a money point of view for the club, I think. But it's a special place and it's a special club, and yeah, I respect a lot what they are doing. So they got promoted, and they are a proper Premier League team, of course.
Neil Jones?
Yeah, in basketball, Naby, obviously you didn't mention the players who were close to coming back. Have you got an update on his situation? And when you talk about the right player, does that change? Does the right player change when the injuries arrive?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it must not be the same player, but it must still be the right player. So some players are just not available. That's how it is. But that doesn't mean it has nothing to do with the play. If we can do something, or if we will do something, then we are 100% convinced about it. And if we are not convinced, then we don't do it. So that's the situation. And Naby, will not be ready for the weekend, of course not. So we will still need to have a look exactly how long it will take. It's a muscle, and it's not 100% clear. So, but will not be in for the next week.
No more for the open. I'll move on to